Hello, this is Everett again, and this is the beginning of a new series on weathering rolling stock using dry powder pastel chalks. So I'll be taking you through the materials that you need and the techniques that I use to weather rolling stock and help you get your rolling stock in shape, make your layout look good and well worn like an old shoe. Well, not really, but you know what I mean. So anyway, let me get going with the materials that you'll need to do this. Alright, well, first of all, you're going to need some rolling stock to weather. And if you're just starting out on this, I strongly recommend picking up some cheap freight cars. Stuff that's a lot of stuff made by Lifelike. I shouldn't say all. I'll have to qualify that. I was going to get in trouble. But they make some cheap stuff. And also, Model Power makes some really cheap freight cars, so you can buy like a 3-pack or 6-pack of them for $10 or something like that. I mean, you can get them really dirt cheap, but it's a good platform to start off on for experimenting and finding out what works best. So, well, of course, you'll need that, and you're going to need your chalks. And I usually just work with 4 basic colors. I've got the black graphite chalk, and then I get this little pack of earth tones, and I know you can buy bigger packs that have whole different shades of them, but I'm trying to be as cost effective as possible, and really, you know, dirt is dirt is dirt. There's not that much variety, and if you need to mix shades, you can take the powders and that you create and mix them together and make different shades. So and this light shade I've never used. It just comes with the pack, but I'm thinking this may not be a bad thing for you darker freight cars, to make them look a little dusty, a little lighter dust on them. So haven't messed with that yet, haven't tried experimenting, but I'll just work with these 3 earth tone shades. So then you'll need some cheap artists paint brushes for applying the powders to the car. So cheaper the better. You don't need anything really fancy or expensive to do that. You'll need some containers here for holding your chalk once you've ground it up into a powder. I'm also thinking you could probably buy this stuff already pre-ground, but of course that usually costs more. At least I'm thinking, but anyway, something to hold your different colored chalks. I'm just using, for me, these old freight car boxes and lids and stuff like that. So that's something else you'll need. And you'll need a couple of different types of sandpaper. This is 220 grit, and I use this for creating my pastel, the chalk powder. And I use this 400 grit waterproof sandpaper for wearing down the paint on the sides of the cars before I apply any of the pastels. So I'll show you how I do that too. So you don't want to go anything coarser than this, or else you really gouge your decals up. But just to give it a nice little worn look, this is more than adequate. Need a coat hanger, and I'll show you what I do with that later. And vise, if you happen to have one. If not, you could probably make do with just holding the coat hanger in your hand. But like I say, you'll see this all unfold as I continue on in the tutorial. And a pair of pliers with wire snips. There's a couple of wire snips in them for cutting the coat hanger. So anyway, that's pretty much. Oh yeah, last but not least, you'll need some matte finish for sealing the the detailing on. For locking it on. You can also just dust these things and leave them alone and not bother with spraying and making the weathering permanent on them too. I know some people who do that, but this is, if you want to make your weathering permanent on your cars, this is kind of what you'd need to use to do it. So anyway, these are all the materials. If I forget anything, or if I've forgotten anything, you'll find out in the course of this tutorial. So let's get on with some weathering.